Gardening is kind of a difficult thing because you're trying to fit it into your schedule and you have a busy life and it may not work so well. I might have time one weekend to plant a bunch of seeds. If I do that, then yeah, it'll take a long time. I'll be waiting around until finally later on, many weeks later, I can harvest. And if I plant them all at that one time, then I'm going to be harvesting abundance and all at one time, and then after that, nothing. Which is kind of awkward. So one thing that is kind of cool is you can do this net pruning thing to kind of stagger out your plants. You can plant all your seeds all at once when you have time, and then as you want to get some plants into production, you can move those over into a non-air pruned environment so that they can just take off and grow as big as they can, and then you can harvest them. Meanwhile, you can keep the rest of your plants air pruned so that they're dwarfed and small, and then that way they're not really harvest ready and they're just kind of waiting in the wings, building up a root structure. And then later on, when you do need more plants to harvest, you can plant those out into your ponds, and there you go. You can have them take off right away, and you won't have to be waiting around very long, and you can space out your harvest so that there's more moderated and easier to work with. So I wanted to show you what I did with some red leaf. Here we've got an example of some plants that I germinated all at the same time. These are red leaf lettuce. Every one of my red leaf lettuces germinated about the same moment. I plant them all at the same time, put them in these plastic trays. Here's one that's been aggressively root pruned by having it in the open air, non-sealed planter. You can see underneath there's not much roots. In fact, there's no roots really hanging out too much. And the top growth is pretty small. It's just not even hitting the sides of the plastic net pot yet. And these are 2-inch net pots. So some of those plants I had in the open air tray like that, and then later on when I built my enclosed tray, which is this guy over here, I moved some of my plants over, and you can see the difference in size already. It's almost outside the circle of the 2-inch net pot, and if we look at the bottom here, this one's got some roots hanging out, because inside the sealed tray, the air in there gets very humid, and that humid air doesn't prune the roots as aggressively as it would in the open air tray does. Next we'll show you what it looks like in the hydroponics pond, where we've got a full layer of water underneath. This one here, the tray is pretty much just air. There's a very tiny amount of water underneath, and that's about it. Alright, and here's that same red leaf lettuce seedlings that were germinated at the same time. This one here was moved directly into a deep water culture hydroponics pond, so there's no more air pruning at all going on to speak of. It just roots growing straight into water and all just going nuts in there. And this plant's just humongous in just a little bit of time. It's not as big as it could be because I've been eating some of the lettuce leaves, so it's been pruned back a little bit that way. Underneath we can look at the roots, and we got lots of roots. They're kind of tangled up in there, so I can't pull them out. But there you go. Air pruning works.